Hi, thank you for joining the session. I hope everyone is doing well. Before I start, I would like to thank the Game Accessibility Conference organizers for inviting me. My name is Arthur Tile, and I am a lecturer at Birmingham City University, where I research topics around accessibility, assistive technologies, and user experience of people with multiple, profound, or complex disabilities. Today, I will be presenting the findings of my research with deafblind gamers, titled Understanding the Perceptions and Experiences of the Deafblind Community About Digital Games. This research was part of the Suitcase project, funded by the European Union's Horizon 2020 program, and it was conducted in collaboration with different European partners, including collaborators at Offenburg University in Germany. Perhaps I should talk a little bit about where I work. I am part of the DMT lab at Birmingham City University in the UK, where we conduct research in human computer interaction. The research group specializes in research around user experience design, virtual and augmented reality, as well as accessibility and assistive technologies. We work with leading national and international organizations across disciplines to develop and explore novel technologies for people with a diverse range of abilities. We also host the MSc, the Master's Program in User Experience Design, with a strong focus on accessibility. Here I included a picture of the Steam House building where we are located in Birmingham. The sky is gray as usual, but I promise the weather is not that bad. So, why conducting game accessibility research with deafblind people? Well, most games assume that people can see or hear well enough to play them. This is not the case for around 3 million deafblind people living in Europe, according to recent statistics. There is also a tendency in the accessibility research community to focus on individuals with single or well defined categories of disabilities. But we know that the spectrum of disabilities is much more complex than that. Also, little is known about the personal experiences of deafblind people when it comes to playing games and how we can make games more accessible for deafblind gamers. But before I talk about the research findings, I would like to briefly talk about what deafblindness means. Deafblindness is an umbrella term for the combination of sight and hearing impairments. Being deafblind does not mean people are fully deaf and fully blind. It means, instead, that it becomes difficult for one sense to compensate the other. Actually, many deafblind people have partial vision or hearing. Also, deafblindness is more commonly experienced when people get older. It's important to note that deafblind people experience many changes in their senses during their lifetime. And here I included a picture of Helen Keller, a famous deafblind person. If you are not familiar with her story, please Google it because it's really fascinating. In order to get a better understanding of personal experiences of deafblind people around gaming and play, We conducted 60 interviews with deafblind individuals in the UK, Germany, Netherlands, Greece, and Sweden. We tried to interview people with different backgrounds, including people with congenital and acquired deafblindness. It is important to note that deafblind people communicate in different ways, including verbally, sign language, and tactile sign language as well. Most interviews were conducted with the help of interpreters or family members. So in the next slides, I will share some of our findings and some of our recommendations for making games more accessible for deafblind gamers. So, key findings. So we found that only 20% of participants play games regularly. Also, we found that 77% of participants stopped playing at least one game as a result of deafblindness. People also shared that casual mobile games were the preferred or more accessible type of games played among deafblind gamers. People also shared that playing games was very important to them, and it was a way to meet and interact with other people, and also to occupy their minds, especially knowing that a lot of leisure activities are not widely accessible for deafblind people. So more key findings. So according to deafblind gamers, the lack of minimum accessibility features was the main barrier to playing games effectively. Also, our participants shared that high cognitive demand and high game complexity are significant challenges for them. This includes fast-paced dynamics and time-based actions. In general, they share that AAA games are too demanding for them. Also, in terms of general accessibility, financial costs can also impose additional barriers to playing games, especially since deafblind gamers need to acquire assistive devices on top of gaming platforms. So main barriers and challenges. In terms of what games can do better, we found that there is a lack of support for using more than one assistive device simultaneously when playing games. Deafblind gamers often use more than one assistive device at a time, including screen readers, sound amplifiers, magnification glasses, or cochlear implants. There is also a lack of compatibility with refreshable braille displays and other tactile devices. There is also a lack of support for mixed ability play with non-disabled players. So here I wanted to share some quotes from the people we interviewed, and just to get a better understanding of what deafblind gamers said during the interviews. So in this example, the person said, "I play some board games, mainly card games, but not that often. I mostly play games on my phone. I have lots of games on my phone, Sudoku, for instance, which I have been playing for ages. This other person said, I had a Nintendo, but I can't see anymore. Modern games flash a lot and are so fast I can see. The old fashioned ones were slower. I can't do that anymore. So, in terms of casual mobile gaming, deafblind gamers shared that they prefer playing casual, slow paced mobile games. Many factors contribute to this, including general mobile accessibility features and less demanding game dynamics. Um, Participants mention Wordfield, Sudoku, Candy Crush, crosswords, and puzzles as examples of accessible mobile games. For example, one participant with low vision said that the bright colors in Candy Crush was really useful for them to see what is happening on screen. Not many AAA games were mentioned during the interviews, apart from Minecraft. Actually, I'm not sure if Minecraft can be considered a AAA game. Maybe people in the audience can confirm this or not. So, more quotes from participants. Here, one of the people we interviewed said, "My son used to play computer games, but I can't play those with him. I used to play chess. Sometimes I still do that with my son. That I can still do." Another person said, "I used to play games with my granddaughter, but she would always cheat. I do play games on my iPad." And this other person said, "I used to play PlayStation before, but I don't play that often. I wish I could play again because I used to talk to friends." So, in terms of multiplayer and social gaming, we found that social gaming is a major challenge for deafblind gamers. According to the interviews, deafblind people miss playing games with other people. And when they do, they also miss the competitive element of gaming due to a mismatch between gaming abilities. In general, playing games is an activity deafblind people pursue to spend time with family and friends. It is important to note that the impact of social gaming in the lives of deafblind people. Game developers should consider the experiences of gamers with changing abilities as they get older. It is important to ensure that people can still play the games they were used to, regardless whether their sensory abilities change over time. So, in terms of common accessibility barriers faced by deafblind gamers, I show here a list of issues or challenges mentioned by the people we interviewed. You will notice that many of the accessibility barriers listed here are not exclusive to deafblind people. However, deafblind gamers will most likely face significantly more challenges than gamers who are either blind or low vision, or deaf or hard of hearing. The most common barrier among the people we interviewed was actually screen size. And this makes sense as most deaf-blind people use their phones to play games. But also, um, other accessibility barriers were mentioned. So, for example, no audio descriptions, captions was a um, common barrier, but also people said that sometimes games are too fast or have too many stimuli at the same time. Um, some people said that there is a lack of ability to respond quickly, so the games have time constraints. Also, people said that a lot of games only support a limited set of devices, so they only work on a specific platform, which is a limitation for deafblind people. Also, people said that sometimes games have audio cues to help the gameplay. However, these audio cues are too subtle for them and they are not customizable. Another accessibility barrier was related to the lack of customizable graphics in terms of contrast, brightness, and size of elements. And similarly, people also said that there is a lack of customizable audio, including language. A lack of haptic cues was also mentioned. And also, some people said that games usually have or provide a limited access to information about other players when people are playing together. So, deafblind people have a limited awareness of what other players are doing. And finally, not as common, but still I think is important, some people said that language accessibility was a barrier because a lot of these resources and a lot of these platforms only provide information in English, or maybe people are more used to sign language instead. So language accessibility should not be overlooked. So, based on our research findings with deafblind gamers, we propose a number of recommendations for reducing barriers to play. We recommend the use of binaural audio and integrated audio descriptions for navigation, interaction, and environment description. We also recommend the use of built-in accessibility features that support the use of multiple assistive devices simultaneously. This includes refreshable braille displays, not only screen readers. We also recommend the inclusion of high levels of customization to avoid sensory and cognitive overload. Finally, we recommend the use of haptics not only for feedback, but also as a feed-forward technique to guide gamers who rely on tactile information to navigate the world. And before I finish my talk, I would like to leave some final considerations. First, do not assume that disabled gamers fit in a well defined box. The experiences of deafblind gamers are different than the experiences of gamers with only visual or auditory disabilities. Um, Also, the people we interviewed said that information about accessible games is generally difficult to find or inaccessible. So, creating resources and awareness around the experiences of gamers with multiple, profound, or complex disabilities is very important. As a community, we should not overlook this. So, I hope you found this talk useful. Please feel free to contact me if you want to read more about our research findings. Um, I'm happy to share the full paper with you. I will leave my contact details on screen. Please reach out if you would like to collaborate in the future. It's always good to connect with other people interested in accessibility. Um, our research lab at BCU is always looking for new collaborations, so let me know if you would like to work together in the future or in new research projects. Um, yes, and thank you so much. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much.